I've always felt like I'm not one who's in complete synergy with who I am and what I do. I've crossed paths with people who are completely ad people, not for the opportunities it brings or the awards that it wins them, but for the complete fascination of their career and the industry and the work that comes with it. We've all heard of these kinds of people, and we've seen them do incredible things because of that. Beyonce doesn't just sit in the studio and wing it when it's time to make an album. I assume she's always doing, always interrogating her craft, learning about it, digging deeper and deeper to find the secrets of the music industry and creating a work of art from it. Work that's in complete synergy with who she is and what she wants to represent. I'd like to get to that place. This morning, I woke up at 2:30 a.m. for a 6:30 a.m. call time. And you know what I did in between that time? I thought. I was thinking. I thought, hoping that the shoot goes well, that we capture all our shots, that my script gets approved before we say action. Just endless worrying and getting excited and getting annoyed and then again being excited because this beautiful stress-fueled thing that I've created with a team full of wonderful people was coming to fruition, and that felt fucking cool. But even with those bursts of pure admiration for the words that I put on paper, I still feel like there's a disconnect between advertising and Sisipo. It's a disconnection that I've always felt, and it isn't because of the environment or for the people, but it's because of the lack of consistent satisfaction it brings me. Like, advertising is good to me, but is good enough what I really want to do for the rest of my life? Do I want to spend the rest of my life wondering if it gets better than this? Which then begs the question, what would be that thing? My thing? And is it just one thing? Am I ready to pour myself into one cup, hoping it'll keep me full for the rest of my days? I don't know. I have friends who are also in advertising, but are also into other things as well. From visual art to making music, to writing poetry, to deep sea diving, photography. Like, everything that they do is endless. Like, they have their 9-to-5 self, their advertising work self, and then they have all these other different passions that they do with it. And I'd like to think that after much introspection and, it's just many internal conversations with myself, that I will also find my thing, that thing. Or maybe I'm already doing my thing. Maybe it's this thing between me and this camera, me and this keyboard, me and this constant storytelling that I'm doing. Maybe that's my thing. Making videos, stitching together parts of my life to tell a story and to make the simplicity of my days pure novelty. I think that's it, actually. I think it's more than anything to share. Sharing my words, unfiltered, with no deadlines, just the necessity and the urge to create and have whatever I want to share made. Sharing parts of myself, parts of my life when the cameras are rolling. Sharing my vulnerabilities, my discoveries, my epiphanies, my process. God, there's so much beauty and love that goes in the process. I recently took a trip outside my city, and I was in a bus for a total of about, let's say, 6 hours. And I was in this bus for that long just to get to the destination, have some lunch, see some water, be in awe of the location, and then literally 1 hour later go back home again. And my friends called me crazy for traveling such a long distance, for being in a bus for so long, just to be at the actual destination for like a fraction of the time. But for me, the biggest reason for me taking that trip was to take that trip. It was to be in the bus, to capture what I can, to sit in my thoughts, to be on my phone, and to just wander. The journey was the purpose. And maybe that's what my purpose is. To enjoy the discoveries made along the way instead of worrying whether I'll make it to the finish line. Because what if there is no finish line? So this cross-section between who I am and what I do, I don't think I'll ever get over that. I think it'll always be a constant battle where I feel like what I'm doing might not be completely fulfilling, but I will do it because the beauty is in the journey. The beauty is in the making. It isn't always at the end. I think just as I took that trip, to take that trip, to be on the road, to be with myself, that is also the joy of finding my thing, if there even is such a thing as my thing. Maybe all these things are my thing. And me just discovering and creating and trying to learn more about myself through these things is the actual destination.